Welcome to Good Games Spawn Point, the show for gamers by gamers. I'm Hex.
And I'm Bajo.
And I am Darren.
Coming up on today's show, we round up 3 of the best smartphone games that you can get your thumbs on. And best of all, they're free.
And we'll keep those thumbs busy blasting space pirates in Elite Dangerous.
Pew pew! All this talk of opposable thumbs is quite distressing. Please keep in mind that some of us are limited to scoop-friendly games.
Of course, Darren.
Well, Darren, at least you can strain scalding hot pasta with your hands. That's something.
That's true.
Yeah, how about you give us your challenge for this week?
All right. Cycle up your cerebrum, spawnlings. It's time for Darren's Challenge! Today, I'm asking you this. In the opening cutscene of LEGO Dimensions, who is the Gotham supervillain that Batman and Robin are chasing? Answer at the end of the show.
Oh, that's a good test of memory, Darren. But now it's time for the news with Goose.
Thanks guys, Goose here with all the Spawn Point news. The Oxford Dictionaries has for the first time ever named an emoji as their word of the year. 2015 was named the year of the face with tears of joy emoji. They felt it was the word that best reflected the ethos, mood and preoccupations of 2015. The joyful emoji beat out a short list of contenders that included words such as on fleek, ad blocker, refugee and they. Last week we reported on Code.org's collaboration with Star Wars to help teach coding, and now they've launched a Minecraft coding tutorial. The website teamed up with developers from Mojang to create the 15-part tutorial that helps teach some of the basics of using a programming language. Aspiring coders can head here and try it out at other tutorials. And that's all the news for this week. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Goose. Well, with most of the year's big games already released, we thought we'd turn our attention to the small screen and round up 3 of the best free-to-play smartphone games. And I have to say, guys, it reminded me just how many talented devs we have right here in Australia.
That's right, Hex. 2 of these games are Aussie-made and they're bursting with style. Let's start with Shooty Skies. It's made by the super talented local devs behind Crossy Road and Pac-Man 256. And it has a similar retro flavour to it.
Affirmative. Shooty Skies is inspired by 80s arcade shooters, with waves of enemies swooping into view and blasting back at you. However, the usual mix of planes and bullets has been replaced with bizarre elements like floating arcade machines shooting joysticks at you.
Yeah, it's super weird, but the graphics are so vibrant I couldn't help but really warm to it. Each enemy has so much personality in their little blocky bodies, and the explosions are so satisfyingly over the top.
Controlling the game is really easy to pick up as well. Your finger controls the ship, plus it shoots whenever you're touching the screen. Although there's an interesting twist in that you have to take your finger off to charge up your super move. And this leaves your ship defenseless.
I know, it's the opposite of your normal shooter instincts, which are to keep moving and firing. But I got used to it quickly, and I really enjoyed my time with this, so I'm giving it 4 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Yeah, it's a top-notch score chaser. I'm giving it 4 out of 5 as well. Next up, my favourite hedgehog is back in Sonic Dash 2, Sonic Boom!
In this game, Sonic runs up the screen in one of 3 lanes, collecting as many rings and power-ups as possible, while dodging out of the way of obstacles. How did you both find the gameplay?
Well, I think the Endless Runner really suits Sonic. We get a chance to enjoy Sonic's speed, especially when he does his super dash. And I was able to get into a good rhythm zipping in and out of lanes.
Yeah, I think they've done a pretty good job with this. I thought it looked great, and I appreciate the cool sections like sliding along sky rails with him. Plus, he can use his magnetic power to pull rings towards him. Sonic is way too cool to waste time stopping to pick things up.
Well, I actually preferred Knuckles to Sonic.
Heresy!
His special ability lets him do a ground pound attack that sends out a shockwave, knocking out enemies in multiple lanes. The destruction! Plus, Bajo, we all know anything red goes faster.
I think you'll find, Darren, that Sonic's shoes are red.
Knuckles' entire body is red.
All right, guys. Well, I did also enjoy the mini challenges that you could take on. They gave you objectives like collecting 50 orbs in one run, which helped keep it interesting because the level layouts themselves get a bit samey.
Yeah, I would have liked more variety as well. Where are the super jumps? Where are the loop-de-loops? But most importantly, they get the core of this game right. So I'm giving it 3.5 rubber chickens.
It's 3 from me. And now last but far from least, we have another Aussie-developed game. It's Landsliders.
Landsliders was created by a small Brisbane team made up of ex-Half-Brick devs who worked on Fruit Ninja and Jetpack Joyride. And like those games, this boasts gorgeous art and gameplay that's easy to understand, but extraordinarily difficult to master.
You're not wrong, Darren. This game is brutal at first. You need to slide your panda around collecting bamboo and dodging enemies. But one touch and it's all over. So harsh.
I know, those pogo dinos are the worst. Although my score started jumping up way more when I realised I could trick them into falling into water or off cliffs. Yeah, now who's extinct, dinos?
Oh, good one, Hex. The game does have a handful of useful strategies. I liked picking up the invulnerability power-up to turn the tables on the enemies that were chasing me.
Yeah, there's some clever depth here, like discovering you can slide on air briefly to get around gaps. I think they've absolutely nailed that have one more go feeling with this game. I'm giving it 4.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Yeah, it's really fun, isn't it? I especially loved the bonus characters, like playing as the giant boulder rolling over little Indiana Joneses. I'm giving it 4.5 rubber chickens as well.
You know, I don't like to brag, but I actually met the team at Mighty Games, who made Shooty Skies, the first game we just reviewed, and they were such big fans of mine that they made an asset of me in their game engine. Have a look.
Whoa, Darren, that's amazing!
Yeah, very impressive, Darren. Hey, and while we're talking about Aussie indie devs, Goose recently met one who's making games of his own. Roll the tape, Carrie.
Thanks, guys. I'm here in Melbourne with Josh, who's a young award-winning game maker. Josh, tell me, how did you first get into making games?
Yeah, it was about 4 years ago, actually. I found out about different game developer groups in Melbourne, and I went along to one of the meetups and met a lot of game developers from there. And over the last 4 years, I've just been making games by myself, making games with other people, having really supportive people around me to help me out.
So, did you always play games growing up?
Yeah, I did actually. I never thought making games was my passion, but I've always loved playing games. Whether it's been like Mario or Wolfenstein or even like soccer games and sport games such as Rugby League Live.
How would you say some of those games have influenced what you do?
They've really, really influenced me over the years. Seeing some of the games, especially meeting some of the developers behind them who actually made them, that's a really big eye-opening experience, and it's put me on the path where I am now.
So we're currently here at the arcade. Can you tell me, what is the arcade?
Yeah, so the arcade's a co-developer working space based in South Bank in Melbourne. It has around 80 different people and 26 different companies, all working on games such as Crossy Road, Shooty Skies, Breath of Light. It's a really fantastic space as well, and it's a great collaboration space for game developers.
Can you tell me, what are some of the games you've developed?
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, I had a work experience and a summer holiday job with Big Ant Studios, and they make a lot of sports titles. I was very lucky enough from Ross Simons to allow to work on Rugby League Live 2, and just actually recently I launched a game with my own company called Smog Game, which is a colour matching endless runner on the App Store.
So Josh, can you show me how the game actually works?
Yeah, cool. So this is called Smog Game. It's a colour matching endless runner on the iPhone and iPad, which is teaching kids about how to reduce their smog carbon footprint. It's a very eco-friendly game. As the red power plants come around, you tap the red button to destroy them. As the blue and the blue force fields come around, you tap blue, and purple, which is red and blue together, you tap both.
Can you run me through how you actually built this game?
Yeah, so I use several different tools, from tools such as the Unreal Engine to Visual Studio. So at the moment, I'm using the Unreal Engine to build the game. That's where you see all the 3D side of things. So you can put in the meshes, you can see the UFO, you can edit all the level scripting as well. In tools such as Visual Studio, that's where I do all the coding. So I use the Unreal script, C++, Objective-C, and that is all the actual coding behind the game to get it running and working.
There's obviously a lot going on here. Did you teach yourself code from the beginning, or did you learn from tutorials or any lessons?
A mix of both, actually. So a lot of it's, through tutorials and people helping me out. At the end of the day, though, you have to sort of research yourself and learn where to go.
Were there any particular challenges that you found really tough to get past?
Oh, absolutely. There's always very big challenges for making games. So I had things such as the game would crash on startup, so I gave the game to someone else and it just wouldn't work on the first time on their phone. So what I actually had is I had the voxel agents who worked down the hall, and they gave me a lot of devices to test, and they gave me some coding help as well to get past it. The big thing I've learned about is communication, actually. I mean, you can be the best programmer or the best artist or best designer. End of the day, though, you have to work in a team, and it's really important you work together with people as well. The biggest challenge I've had is balancing between school and university. I worked on the game quite a lot during year 12, which is quite a tricky time with, final exams and everything as well. And at the moment, I'm trying to juggle full-time university while running a company and making games.
What advice would you give to any spawnlings out there who want to make their own games?
The best thing to do is to jump on the internet and look for different tutorials and videos to help you get started. And once you've started getting that, is to look at tools such as the Unreal Engine, Unity, GameMaker and Scratch. There's plenty out there to get started. And just start modding your own favourite games as well. I mean, if there's a level designer, jump in and make your own levels.
All right, let's get straight into it. And first up, we have this from the Witherstorm, who is in Minecraft Story Mode in Victoria. Hi, GGSP. I have 4, 3, 2, or over questions. 1. In Minecraft Story Mode, how much episodes are there? 2. What is a Mac? 3. Is there going to be a PlayStation 5 coming out on 2016? 4. On the Wii U, do you have to have internet? 5. Is Minecraft Story Mode available on the Wii U? 6. Why is LEGO Dimensions so expensive? P.S. Sorry if too long. Bajo is awesome. Hex is awesome too. And Darren is not a noob. If the Spawnlings keep saying that Darren is a noob, I'll hit the with my purple beams. The Witherstorm out.
Okay, well, I think you'll find that was 6 questions with a storm. But as for question 1, well, there will be 5 episodes in Story Mode Season 1.
We haven't heard about a Season 2 yet, but Telltale often make multiple seasons of their games, so it's very possible there will be even more episodes in the future.
As for question 2, well, Macs are simply what people call the desktop or laptop computers made by Apple. They're technically just a PC, except they use a different operating system, also far fewer games tend to support it.
And 3, no, there will not be a PlayStation 5 in 2016. There may potentially be a new Nintendo console next year, but I wouldn't expect to even hear anything about a PS5 for another 2 or 3 years at least.
And 4, no, you do not need the internet on the Wii U, unless of course you want to play games online or download them. For obvious reasons, that would require the internet.
And 5, Minecraft Story Mode is coming to Wii U, but it is not available yet. And no, we don't know the release date.
Although we should point out that you may need the internet on your Wii U to download the episodes when it does come out. Oh, it's a scary ringtone this week. Hang on. Play along, Hex, play along. Hello, Bajo speaking.
Hello, Bajo. It's me, Darren.
I'm sorry, who?
Darren, the robot.
Oh, I'm sorry, I think you must have the wrong number. Goodbye.
Bajo.
Hello, Bajo speaking.
Very funny, Bajo.
Got you, Darren. What can we help you with?
Oh, you got me. Well, I couldn't help but overhear you were talking about Minecraft on the Wii U, and I have some potentially exciting news for the Spawnlings, because it looks like there's going to be a Minecraft Wii U edition! That's right, not just story mode, but the full Minecraft experience. It's still unconfirmed, so it's just a rumour for now, but it's based on a solid source.
Whoa, Darren, you've just blown my world apart. Hey, hang on a sec. If you realise that turns out not to be true, you're going to be crushing the hopes and dreams of a lot of Wii U owners.
Well, like I said, it's a fairly reliable source. The game showed up on the European Ratings Board website and was officially rated.
Sacre bleu!
I saw that, but then didn't it get removed from their website a few days later?
Well, they only rate games that have been submitted to them, so it is very likely it does exist. They probably just removed it because they weren't meant to put the rating up before it was officially announced.
Oh, well, fair enough. But you realise if you're wrong, you are going to have to drink from the noob cup.
Negative.
Affirmative.
Negative.
I think you'll find this affirmative a million times affirmative.
Negative times infinity.
Nothing beats infinity.
Oh, goodbye.
Hi, Darren. I should have said infinity plus 1.
No. All right, well, finally, with a storm, LEGO Dimensions is expensive because LEGO is always expensive, and that's just the price the publisher thinks they can charge for it. But let's move on to this one now from Jordan in Canawindra, New South Wales.
Oh, it's quite a beautiful word, isn't it?
Sounds like a lovely name for a boat. The Canawindra, sailing across the seas.
There she sails. Helmed by the pirate.
What a beauty.
The pirate Can of Blackbeard Windrow. Dear Good Game Spawn, when will KSP be coming out on console? And which ones? Love Heart. Thanks for answering my question.
Well, Jordan, there isn't a specific release date for the console versions of Kerbal Space Program yet. In fact, there isn't even a vague release date from what we can see. They've just said that they're going to make it for console.
Yeah, so we can't say when it will be out, but we can say that it is coming to all current home consoles. That means the PS4, Xbox One, and Wii U will all be getting it.
And if we had to guess, we'd say it's probably a safe bet that we'll see it come out sometime next year. But let's move right along now to this one from Kian the Goomba Slayer, who is in Australia, Adelaide, in South Australia.
Checks out.
Hello, good game, Spawn Point. I was wondering, how do you make a clock in Minecraft? And when will the Xbox One new controllers come out? Thank you for reading. Hex, read this. Darren, read this.
8.3. 3.3.
Goodbye. We can definitely help you out with that, Kian. So to make a clock, you'll need 4 gold ingots and some redstone dust. Then combine them like so. And there you go. Just be aware, though, that clocks are pretty much useless in the end or the nether, since they just spin around like crazy.
As for when the new Xbox One controller is out, well, we assume you mean the new Elite controller and not one of the many custom design ones. And if that is what you mean, then it's out already.
We've heard that it's pretty much sold out everywhere, though, so you probably won't be able to find one in stores for a while until they get restocked.
Yeah, they're also super expensive at around $200 for one controller, which is crazy. They are good controllers, but still, you might be better off just buying a bunch of games with that money.
Yeah, but on that note, we're actually out of time for this week, so if you'd like to ask us something, then you can go here and send it in.
Shall we sail back to Studio Hex?
Yes, on the Canawindra. Sail away, sail away, sail away.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Bajo. Its continuing mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new credits and new bounties,
Target destroyed.
to boldly go where no one has gone before.
Yes, welcome to Elite Dangerous, a space simulator that sets you loose in a mind-boggling recreation of our Milky Way galaxy.
Pew pew!
Approximately 150,000 star systems here have been designed based on real available scientific data, while the remaining 400 billion or so star systems humanity has yet to discover are procedurally generated based on models for how star systems form.
400 billion is a ridiculously big number, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's just so impressive when you're looking at this map, knowing you can travel to all of these stars. It really helps you get to grips with just how massive our galaxy really is.
Now, we reviewed this game on our big show when it first came out on PC, but it's recently come to Xbox One, so we thought we'd revisit it to see what's new and see how it's handled the jump to console.
The basics are still very much the same. You choose to play either online in a galaxy full of other players, or you can play solo, though you still need to be online for that as well. Then you start off at a random spaceport with a cheap ship and almost no money, and what happens next is completely up to you. There are essentially 3 main career paths to pursue: combat, exploration, and trading. As you complete missions or actions within each career, you'll level up its respective status, and after many hours, you may eventually reach the coveted status of Elite.
Target destroyed.
Yeah, you really are left to figure things out for yourself. There's no story to guide you, and you'll never be told what to do next. There's no one to hold your hand.
Yeah, this is a pretty hardcore space sim. There are a lot of controls and systems to learn, so it's easy to feel overwhelmed at first. But I will say they've done a good job of bringing all the controls onto the controller and making it feel intuitive.
There are some tutorials and also links to detailed videos which can help you. But once you look up at those 400 billion stars, it's really hard to know where to start.
Well, your best bet when starting out is to simply visit various space stations and check their bulletin boards. These offer up a whole range of missions that will get you some much-needed credits that you can spend on upgrading your ship.
Yeah, to start with, your ship isn't useful for anything other than a few basic supply runs, but once you've earned some space bucks, then your options do open up.
You could get out your ride with some mining gear and head out to the asteroid fields. Or maybe you'd like to simply explore and chart the unknown. Or just upgrade your weapons and start looking for space pirates with bounties on their heads. Yar, me space bounties.
Target destroyed.
Or even turn into a space pirate yourself. You can make a living pretty much doing anything.
You know, when we reviewed this last year, I wasn't a big fan of how long it took to scrape together enough credits to buy even the most basic upgrades, but I'm happy to say it's much more generous now. It wasn't long before I had the credits to afford to do just about anything I wanted.
I also appreciated the fact that you never lose money on any purchase you make. So if you buy a new weapon for 26,000 credits, you can sell it back and swap it for something else and get your 26,000 credits back.
Yeah, it means you can try out new gear and new careers and never feel like you're being punished for buying anything. Every credit you earn stays yours.
Unless you blow up and then have to pay for the insurance.
Which does happen.
Under attack. Eject. Eject.
In terms of other additions, there's also a new CQC arena, which pits pilots against each other in pure combat. Here, you don't bring your own ship from the main game and instead use pre-built ships. And as you play, you'll level up and unlock new weapons and ships to use in the arena. And you'll also earn credits that go back into your main career.
It's a good place to start your elite journey too, because you get a quick fix of action and a jump start to your career out in the galaxy.
The combat is a lot of fun too. Some of the more powerful weapons are really satisfying to use.
Target destroyed.
And juggling power between your various systems and trying to outmaneuver your foes always gets the heart racing.
Shield offline.
I did struggle to find matches on Xbox though, which means the player population probably isn't that high, and that's a bit of a shame.
We should also point out that there's also a big new expansion landing before the end of the year, which will bring with it the ability to land on rocky planets and drive around in a buggy, amongst other additions.
That space buggy does look fun, Hex, and apparently they're adding a first-person mode and atmosphere to the planet so you go and explore them. It's an ever-evolving game, which is a good thing. We should wrap this up though. Final thoughts?
Well, we've barely scratched the surface of this game. It's so unbelievably vast that you could spend your whole life exploring it and you'd still have barely even seen the smallest fraction of it. But there is a lot of fun to be had carving a life for yourself out among the stars. I'm giving this 4 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Yeah, it really is impressive, but it's also a big commitment. Everything you work for in this game is hard-earned, but that makes it more satisfying too. I'm giving it 4 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Pew pew, pew pew, pew pew.
Well, we're just about out of time for this week, but Darren, can we please have the answer to your challenge, even though I already know it?
Of course you do, Bajo. At the start of the show, I asked you this. In the opening cutscene of LEGO Dimensions, who is the Gotham supervillain that Batman and Robin are chasing? And the answer is, he's a big guy, it's Bane!
Bane, a mighty adversary of the Batman.
Now, guys, next week is going to be our final episode of Spawn Point for the year.
Cool my circuits!
Oh my goodness, Hex!
Yeah, it's going to be a super duper Christmas special, and we're going to be reviewing the new Adventure Time game.
Algebraic!
Say, Darren, are you going to get me a Christmas present this year?
Well, if I think about getting you one, is that enough? Because I've heard it's only the thought that counts.
That's not really how it works, Darren.
Yeah, and in fact, Darren, if you're going to do that, then I'm just going to think about getting you a present as well. Until next time, Bajo out.
Hex out.
Darren out.
Do you guys get presents for your cats?
I do, yeah, I get my cat's hats.
I have little mini stockings for mine, and I put cat biscuits in them.
Oh, nice.
I love Christmas.